Oh, good morning. Welcome to this day. I hope you've got good things to say. We're having a time to share together. We're sharing about good things, even if it's weather. I love to have a time to share with you. I hope it's a pink time, not blue. Welcome to Love Morning. Hey, you. Welcome. This is Love Morning. It is a daily practice of starting that day or continuing that day or taking a break in your day or maybe listening as an archive at some point and just going, what am I grateful for? And who do I want to be today? Good morning, Gerbot. Good morning. Good morning, Joyous. And joyous morning, Gerbot. Good morning, Jobin. Gerbot, Joyous, and Jobin, your names kind of are like they all work together. If you are, someone asked me, like, who are you talking to? I am live right now on YouTube and Facebook. And so I might say hello to somebody that you don't see their name. They could be on Facebook, they could be in YouTube, but we're all practicing this intentional gathering. It is beyond the physical. We like to say in Hug Nation, it doesn't matter where your feet are, it matters where your heart is. And we are connected in a place of intention. Gerbot is noticing my fur. This is an old one that I love. I've actually had the inside stitching replaced and repaired because it just it takes a beating and keeps on furring. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Christopher. I am feeling so grateful today because Lisa came home last night from a trip and had all sorts of tales and epiphanies and clarity to share with me. And that was just really a delight. And I got to share all the things that happened when I was missing her. No, it's I'm enjoying and I'm grateful for this experience of wanting to be with another human all the time. That is a new one for me. I have absolutely loved women in my life. I have had beautiful partnerships, but it wasn't until I was ready for this kind of connection that I really like. I would rather her not leave. I do not crave solo time. I mean, throughout the day, it's nice to have time. We have closed doors and we have our own spaces, but I don't want her to leave. Good morning, Aaron. And speaking of evolution and growing, well, first I should say, if you've got something you're grateful for, I would love to hear what it is. Gerbot says, I'm grateful for YouTube today. A comment I made on another channel led to several ripples out in the world far beyond the comment section. Yay, that's awesome. I was talking with Lisa last night about how significant this last chapter of pain has been. And I'm currently pain-free. I have physical therapy today. I had a talk therapy and physical and body work yesterday. And I'm so pleased with how I'm healing and really adopting a whole new kind of awareness of my body. But in talking with Lisa last night about the significance of this last chapter, it was a lot for me in a lot of ways. I mean, not just the physical sensations, but the having surrendering my autonomy and my ability to take care of myself. You know, it was a big deal for me to go from super independent. Even when I was in relationships, I was always independent. I could take care of my stuff. I didn't really ask for much help from anyone. To go into a partnership, which was the last, 9 months have been of like, okay, I'm going to trust that you can handle this part of our lives, and I'm going to take over certain parts of our lives, and we're going to lead and follow and trust, and then to go from that kind of independence to partnership to dependence. I needed Lisa to take care of me and to do the things and to make the food. And I could barely clean a dish for a period of time. And it was hard, when I'd be like lying on the floor, just resting, keeping myself immobile, and hear her taking care of the stuff of the house and cooking and cleaning and handling things. And it was a big stretch for me it continues to be. I don't feel like, oh, cool, I conquered that. It's like, ooh, I'm not at ease when I feel like I'm not pulling my weight. I mean, even when I'm in a leadership role, that's one of the things I struggled with, and I grew a lot. But with Pinkheart, I felt like I couldn't ask anybody to do anything if I wasn't willing to do it. So anytime we did any build, I was there first and left last. Anytime we had anything to do at storage, I went there. And I felt like it was unfair to ask anyone ever to do anything that I wouldn't do. And that doesn't make sense, especially in a gifting situation. If someone wants to feel good that they can give you something, they want to make your life better and lighter and easier. And if you don't surrender, if you don't acknowledge and let someone take care of you in whatever way it is, whether it's opening a door or, cleaning up after you when you are feeble, or wiping your butt when you are old. And, like these are the ways that you have to make it a gifting experience where it's positive, plus one, plus one. If I resent, if I like, or I feel like, I feel badly that I can't do this myself, I've now poisoned the beauty of a gifting experience where they can feel joyful from giving me joy. Because if I'm stewing, well, now the plus one is just plus one, maybe even a minus one. And then it's all falls apart. So that continues to be a classroom for me, and one that I think is important to learn as one grows older. I continually, am aware of aspects of my physical avatar that do not have the strength or the endurance that it once did. I've been noticing lately that my hands are weaker. Like taking off lids. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was at an event, a week and a half ago, and I'm like, I asked this 20-something kid that I was kind of bonding with, I'm like, can you open this for me? I mean, that was a weird feeling. Whew. Good morning, Brent. Chris is grateful to have spent time in downtown Chicago yesterday, exploring new dining options and a flaming tropical drink. Well, this is the time of year for flaming drinks in Chicago. You're about saying, I'm amazed at what a fantastic future we're living in. I am having a very volatile experience with the future currently. Looking at the the AI video stuff that's been rolling out this week, and just going like, oh my gosh, what are we on the precipice of? And also, I spent many hours this weekend playing with AI art, making album covers, and then I was just making like cool fantasy scenes of Burning Man and lovers at Burning Man. I probably I upgraded my Bing and my Midjourney, so I was like more processing time than I can use. I'm just like redo, change one word, redo, and just getting all these. And every one, I'm like, that's so cool, that's so cool, that's so cool. So I'm teetering between the crap and cone of the future. Good morning, Juan. Good to see you. Aaron says, thank you for receiving, as a quote. Yeah, that's good. I think I mention this frequently, but I had a big shift when someone asked me, do you need any help? And I said, no. And then he paused, and a minute later he said, is there anything I could do that could make your work easier? And I was like, yes. Yes. But for some reason, the automatic answer to do you need help is no. So thank you for receiving. Mm. Joya says, I am so grateful that exactly this time next week, I will be in a real life hug. Yay. It takes grace to accept gifts from others. Exactly, Gerbot. Grateful. Joy says, I'm grateful for first times for everything. Yay. I had someone tell me they refer to things as virgin experiences, non-sexual things. And the older you get, the harder it is to find virgin experiences. One of the reasons why for Valentine's Day, I took Lisa on a surprise visit to the floating tank and to the Japanese friendship gardens because neither one of us had done any of those. It was 2 virgin experiences on our Valentine's Day adventure. So I wanted to share something with you guys today. Speaking of virgin experiences, no, just kidding. I'm keeping my pants on. Although, for all you know, they're already off. The magic. Good morning, Janet. Janet says, grateful to have seen the movie Amelie in the theater. My favorite of all time. I probably watched it 50 times over the last 24 years by now. And Robert scoped it out for us as a date. Thank you, Robert. I love it. Yay. Thanks, Janet. So what I was going to share, I want to share with you a little insight into my love of plants and my relationship with plants. People, when they come over, they often say like, whoa, like these are all so healthy. And I immediately point out, note that I have no children and no pets. So this is as attentive as I get to other living beings. And if I have a plant that gets too withered or starts to die and too yellowy, I throw it away. And you can't do that with a pet or a child. I've looked into it. So like this morning, I was noticing, I found this leaf and I've been looking at it for a few days and it's kind of cut off and it's browning and it just kind of, it's almost like seeing an oozing wound on your kid or your pet. And you're like, oh gosh. Now, the cool thing is with a plant, you can cut off the leaf and it's no problem. It just, in fact, you're diverting the energy of the plant elsewhere. So it's like pruning, it's not, I'm not hurting the plant by removing a leaf that is already damaged. And I go through this kind of back and forth because I don't want to have a mindset that only perfect leaves are okay. There's a leaf right here that's all, but that's just the way this one grows. They start to kind of rip as they mature. That's okay. That's part of life. Trees have scars. We have scars. So this isn't the worst thing in the world, but it also is evidence of a little bit of neglect. So I just remove it and let a new leaf grow. Turn over a new leaf. What a great metaphor that is. So, but I wanted to share with you, there's a few new leaves that are growing right now in my home. And the joy it gives me to see a Kermit-colored, fresh budding leaf is, so I was going to share a couple. I have a number of Z plants. I have a huge Z plant in the corner here that takes up about a quarter of a room, but this is another ZZ plant. And I hope you can see, it's got these shoots that are coming up. You can see one there. And they're a lighter green and they shoot up like erections. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 fresh shoots in here that are shooting up, which is like an orgy. And I just love this like slow motion climax of explosion happening in this plant. And then this one, a split leaf philodendron. And these, when they have new leaves, if they don't get enough sun, they will have minimal cuts on them or no splits in them. But when a healthy leaf with a lot of sun and all the right environments, it's it gives you this cool, see this, can you see a different color on that one? This is brand new. It's still uncurling, but it's so gorgeous. Oh, makes me so happy. Sometimes when I have fantasies of a tattoo, I think of a big split leaf philodendron on my back. Oh, so I just wanted to share my family. And it's one of the reasons why, like, I feel like I could live anywhere and it could be a beautiful home because of the plants. Thank you for joining me on this tour of my green heart. um, Good morning, Nika. Nika says, I got a lot of plants too. Victoria says, it's just an old pathos leaf. Pick it off. Yay, leaves. Yeah. Those things, there is a danger, like they're vines, and when they don't get enough water or too much water, they'll drop leaves. And so, like, one of my least favorite things is a long pathos vine. Is it pathos? Pathos? Golden pathos? That is spindly and just has a few leaves at the end and is this long, because it's the whole vine without leaves is like evidence of abuse. It's like, you had to endure a lot of negligence to get here. The cool thing is, though, you can cut it back and it will, the energy, instead of going to the ends of the vines, it will make new growth. I have a lot of those in water too. Like, here's a clipping of a pathos that I just put in water, and you can see the roots in there. Now, there is a danger that the roots can become what's it? Not mold, but rot. It's Plant Talk with Halcyon. Jobin says, I had a cactus bowl once, and I took it with me on a road trip from Michigan to Cali and back. It was a trooper. Oh, that's awesome. I love when I see people's like van life setups and they have plants in their vans. I think that's the coolest thing. A plant tour would be fun, Nika. That's actually not a bad idea, because I have serious attachment to some of these plants. Let's see if I can show you this one. This is my favorite plant. I don't know if it'll show. This Z plant here, you can't tell how big it is. It's huge. It's probably 5 feet around and like 3.5 feet tall. See how big it is? Like, it's huge. It takes up a lot. Like, in the reason why it's in the corner like that is, oops, what was I going to do with this? Here? Yeah. That's how I had it, hopefully. Yeah. I moved it as far out of the center of the room as possible for when Asher visited, because it's a lot to. We bought a special, like a table, like a bar top table, because most plant holders don't work for it. It's too big. It needs to be high. You're right. I should do a plant tour. Enough plant touring today. Let's share more gratitude. What are you grateful for? I'm clearly grateful for plants and the plants around me. Victoria says, people have a connection to plants that they seldom realize. Plants create joy. Glad you are open to plants. Super cool. That's very true. I once helped a woman I was in a relationship with, helped her move. And it was a stressful move. She had tons of plants, and there was not a good place for them to go. And I was really encouraging her to minimize and to let go of some of them, and the emotional struggle she had with that. And I didn't get it at first. until she explained, like, this has been with me for years. This has moved with 5 different places I've been to. So places when you, especially if you're moving around a lot and you never quite feel at home, a consistent plant can be really important. And some plants, have memories of how they came to you. Like this one just to my right, this plant here. This is a gift from Amy and Asher. It is a white bird of prey that has not bloomed. It's an indoor bird of prey, but these big, awesome leaves. It's probably 4.5 feet tall. Gerbot says, so thoughtful and generous, helping your plants get high. If there was like catnip for plants, I would absolutely help my plants get high. I do try to give them fertilizer and water and sun, which is the best I know to treat them to a party time. Juan says, I'm happy to have a van again. I felt like a vanner without a van. I'm going to put a plant in it. Nice. I think there's certainly some that work better than others. I think succulents are good ones because they don't need a lot of water, and you can kind of anchor them in almost like soil with like rocks on it or something on top of it so it doesn't spill around. Nika says, oh my God, it's so beautiful. My ZZ plant is still a baby. My first plant was a money tree. Thank you for sharing. So therapeutic. I will go on like I will fall in love with a certain type of plant. And then just like, I see one in the store. I'm like, oh, that one's so nice. How many ZZ plants do I have now? 1, I guess just 3. I guess I just have 3 of them right now. But I have mother-in-law tongues. I have so many of those. So you can see what those are. These are mother-in-law's tongues. And I will be honest, these do not give me the same emotional connection because they're hardy. Their leaves are not supple. They're more like succulents in their hardiness. But I love the colors on them. I love the striations, and they're so hardy. I could put one in the bedroom that gets almost no light. We keep the shades closed. I do sometimes move it in here every once in a while, but about 3 months ago, a neighbor had just put out tons of these clumps of these out on the pavement, just a take, And usually when people throw these away or if they're outdoors, they get like a yellowy, actually it hurts my heart when I see people who use these as outdoor landscaping. They just don't seem to do that well unless they're in serious shade. Too much sun, they turn yellowy. I can tell they're sick. It hurts my heart. But these were all really healthy and nice. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 15 pots of these around the house because you can put them anywhere. You have to worry about them in the sun as long as you don't water them too much. Awesome. There's 2 of those behind the monitor. See 2 big ones. Although it's funny, there's 2 leaves on the big ones that have kind of got some yellowing damage, and I'm looking at them going like, maybe I should prune those. Is that my ego? Is that my ego that wants the plants to look prettier than they are? Tal says, how are the Balboa Botanical Gardens? They're working on them. It's kind of a bummer because it's a long process. They're redoing the whole thing. It's got to be, I thought about, it'd be cool to see like a behind the scenes. How do they do that? Do they move all the plants? They must. So yeah, it's still closed. Jobin says, my brother-in-law moved a large cannabis plant from an apartment porch to a farmhouse. In the move, it got crushed. It looked bad, but it made it to the farm and came back and it rocked its harvest. That's nice. I have friends that, in fact, Becca, who, if you've been following a long time, a former partner of Becca, awesome woman and plant mama. Sometimes I will say, like, there's a plant that's a little too beat up, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm ready to put it outside, which to me usually means if it's an indoor plant, an outdoor plant, it's not going to survive. But I'll say like, hey, do you want to try to hospitalize and bring these back? And she's usually like, yeah. She loves taking a like finding a plant in someone's thrown out and being like, those roots are good, I can bring it back. Strelitsa Nikolai is the white bird of prey. Woo! Did you know that off the top of your head? Impressive. Well done, Victoria. Have a good morning, Gustavo. Good luck with your job interview. Anyone else have any gratitude that they want to share? Jobin point out, those roots are good. You know, that is, I think there's a metaphor in there, you know. Actually, I should share it. If anyone here read my first book of essays, the Love More, Fear Less, Float More, Steer Less. I've been quite mobile today. I'm moving around. That's because it's a rare time when I have pants on. So I'm like, might as well. So this is a book. It's available on Amazon. It's short. It's probably not worth the cost, but it's under 100 pages. Collection of essays. It's over 10 years old. But there's one of the things that I wrote in here. I wrote about the story I heard in the early internet days that it just really hit me hard. And it was about how in the what was it called? The Biodome, I think Biodome in Arizona, they created a fully enclosed dome, and they're trying to figure out, could you have a fully enclosed biosystem? You know, like, could you create something that could live on Mars? You know, could you have all the ingredients of a biosphere, all self-contained? And I think they're still doing it. Excuse me. But they found in the course of the experiment that the larger trees, a number of them, fell down. And they couldn't figure out what had happened. You know, they had brought in tree experts, and no one could figure out that, like, the roots did not look like they had rotted. They seemed healthy. And the conclusion was that in this environment, in a dome, there were no storms. So there was nothing that batted around the tree as it was growing up. And so the tree did not need to build an extensive root structure. And so as it got taller and taller and taller with its weak roots, because it never was challenged, they fell. And I thought that was the coolest story. What a metaphor for humans, and what a clear understanding that all things need struggle so that they can grow, so that they can build the muscles, so they can have the grit to grow into their potential. And so when you see someone that you love that is being tested in life, and your instinct is you want to save them, you want to protect them, remember they need to grow their roots so they can become the tree that they have the potential of being. And that book and that story has been in publication for over 10 years. And then I saw the story online someplace. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this story. I've searched for it. I can't find, the original story. And I saw it. It was someone did a meme out of it on Instagram a couple years ago. And I'm like, awesome. And then in the comments, people were like, this is bullshit. This story is not true. And the more I researched into it, there's no evidence that ever happened at Biodome. So there may be other stories that are similar or helpful. I think that you can, but the story that I told in that book is wrong. I help spread fake news, and it is something that I am not proud of. Part of me wants to just kind of do a republishing that and fix that and a couple typos and add some stuff to it. But yeah, maybe today is the incentive, the kick to get my ship in order. Because right now, that book, it has some typos, it has a wrong story. So it's yet another evidence that I'm scrappy and I don't, my I do everything good enough. I 80-20 things. I never make it. I never get things good to the place of excellence. Although I do think Protagonist is pretty slick, the second book. All right, I apologize for telling you that story and then pulling the rug out from it afterwards. My apologies. Sorry. I still think it's a good metaphor, and I think it's still true, you know, and it resonates because you know it's true. You know that you wouldn't be the person you are if you were rescued from all of your trouble. There's a I think it's one of the movies where I think Jim Carrey's in it and Morgan Freeman is God, I think. And they demonstrate this where he tries to save people from all their struggles and the people become weak versions of themselves. It's like the story behind A Boy Named Sue, if you know that song. The dad who knew that he wouldn't be around to make sure his son became a man named the kid Sue so that his life would be hard so that he would develop character. Of course, I don't recommend that as that. I think the better solution is be a dad that is there for your son, not kick them so hard on your way out that they have trauma that makes them strong. That seems like a bad answer to the how to make your kids resilient. Well, anyone have any more gratitudes to share? Gerbot saying 100%. Challenges are what build strength and character. I had in therapy yesterday, I was talking a lot about the lessons and the benefits of my recent pain journey. I'm curious if anybody has noticed that I've been looking a little bit to the left of the camera tonight. I'm trying something new. I'm trying to record an archive of this on my phone so that it's higher quality, so that if I do make clips out of it, I can feel like I'm making a higher quality product or a higher quality thing. I don't know. As I've been mentioning lately, I'm trying to figure out the best place to use my energies and efforts moving forward. Zoe, good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Zoe is grateful to be back in the gym and back in the pole studio. Woo, woo, back on the pole. I will add to that and say I'm grateful that my body is feeling good enough now that I did push-ups yesterday for the first time in months, 4 months maybe, because I'd not been doing them even leading up to my pain. So I didn't do a ton. But even a half push-up was so out of the question for 2.5 months. So I'm feeling so grateful, and so grateful for my therapist, Misty, who is so informed of trauma, talk therapy, and body therapy. She really, I'm working a lot on my psoas and my posture, my belly, and I'm really feeling encouraged. And I'm grateful that I'm on the way to being strong again. And I really think that the challenges of my injury gave me the gift of releasing a whole level of vanity. Like, I used to do push-ups, and the things that I did to work out were very much a part of I wanted to look good. And I look in the mirror, I feel good. And now I'm like, it would be nice to look better, but if I have a big belly and I feel good, I'm fine with that. I am so fine with that. Part of that is I'm in this beautiful, loving relationship where we see each other through these rose-tinted glasses of just attraction. And the other is, and I know, like, this is the only person that I really care about how attractive I am forever. And I've felt what life is when you don't feel good, and nothing feels as good as feeling good feels. That thing of like, nothing tastes as good as feeling thin feels, something like that. I'm like, nope, nothing feels as good as feeling good feels. No amount of abs, no attraction is as good as feeling good. And I don't know if I would have agreed with that. I probably wouldn't have said that out loud, but I think that there was a part of me that would not let go of the need to look as good as I could. And I really feel like I have released and let the inevitable flow of aging kind of start to take me down the stream into whatever is next. And I want to be healthy. I want to work out because I want to fight off pain and weakness. Maybe fight is the wrong term. I want to create a healthy relationship with strength and feeling good. Chris says, we call that happy fat, especially in a new relationship. I mean, I do admit, after not having ice cream for a long time since the beginning of my injury, I had ice cream over the weekend and I bought ice cream yesterday. Meanwhile, Lisa comes back from traveling and goes, I'm going to do a fast. I'm like, I'm on a ice cream dieta. Does that count? All right. Well, today I'm looking forward to being a love ambassador, and I'm looking forward to being open and connecting, and looking forward to honoring my word and getting back to a number of people, and doing my checklist of my things. I've got my habit tracker. I've already got a couple things from today, but I want to keep at it. Even if I'm feeling good, I want to keep on I don't want to be motivated by pain. I want to be motivated by that healthy relationship with feeling good. Yes. Speaking of which, you make me feel good. So thanks for being here. And wherever you are, let's anchor this connection with a hug. So give yourself a beautiful embrace, feeling this body, appreciating whatever state it's in, whatever healing journey you're going through, and appreciating all the people who've been here today, sharing little bits of their lives, little bits of gratitude, knowing that there are billions of people out there on these journeys, all doing their best. They want to feel better. They want to feel good. They want to be warm. They want to feel safe. They want to, if they've got the means, they want to work through and become free of the old stuff so they can be present with the new stuff. Isn't that kind of what the journey's about? Can I heal the old shit so I can be present with what is, so I can appreciate this life as it's happening? So let's take a deep breath in. Squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of you, thanks for being here. Thanks for adding your goodness, sharing your roots, letting our leaves photosynthesize this good vibes into energy for ourselves in the world. I love you. Have a beautiful day. Thanks, Jobin. Thanks, Victoria. Thanks, Gerbot. Thanks, Zoe and Chris. Now, don't tell that biodome story because it's not true unless you make sure you let people know. Okay, this is not a true story, but it is a fictional metaphor. Thank you, Jen. Happy Tuesday. Oh, if you're still here, tomorrow is my 1-year sober anniversary. So I'm trying to think if I might do some sort of celebration, but tomorrow is 1 year off of ketamine, alcohol, and GHB, assuming I make it through the night, but planning on celebrating tomorrow. Thanks, Janet. Happy day to you.